Welcome back to another episode of Cape Ann Today with only one reporter from the Gloucester Times, Ethan Forman. Stephen is covering the ribbon cutting, I think, in Rockport of the new affordable housing at 5 Granite Street, I think, right? Right. So
Yeah, he's on assignment.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so Ethan, so let's talk Gloucester, all Gloucester today. Last night was a debate for the preliminary mayoral election. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'll be working on a story about the debate was sponsored by a group called the Cape Ann Political Action Committee, a newly formed group in the city, focused on politics, obviously. And this was really the only chance for a debate before the preliminary. It seems like we had a long election season. You know, candidates had until about August 1st to get their papers in, but then everything sort of accelerated. So this is really the only chance for residents to hear live from the mayoral candidates, and that was at Gloucester High School. It took place on Wednesday night in the lecture hall at Gloucester High, and the room was packed, standing room only. There was only three candidates: Mary Ellen Rose, the city's former health director; Tracy O'Neill, who's the incumbent. Well, she's the incumbent Ward 2 counselor, but the district lines moved, so she's She's running for mayor instead. And Francisco Scalafini, who has making his 9th run for mayor. So he's the kind of guy. He wears a tux, and shows up at the debate. And so yeah, so that's what happened last night. The mayor did not attend. He's a sitting member of the school committee by dint of his office, and a voting member as well. So he was in the high school, but he was on a different floor in the high school library. So yeah, it's an interesting intersection of this different school politics. So a lot going on in Gloucester at this moment. So
Can you tell us anything? I know you're working on the story, so if you can't do that, that's okay. But anything about the group that sponsored the event, the debate?
yeah, I mean, it's a relatively new group. It's headed up by Mr. Stova and Clayton Sova, who's a small businessman. So I know the individuals. I believe that at one time they were on the Gloucester Republican City Committee. I don't know. I honestly don't know their status on that committee, but so people who are conservative, and they formed this committee. Fine. And they held the debate, and probably did the city a little bit of a favor, because this is the only chance that people are going to see the challengers to the mayor. So everyone in my opinion, the mayor does get a lot of ink. He's a lot of ribbon cuttings. We do a lot of features on him. So maybe it was good for the candidates to sort of who are running in the preliminary, which is Tuesday, September 19th, which is right around the corner, right? To get a little bit of their own airtime. So they did talk on a wide ranging subject. It was about 2 hours. It was about over 2 hours. Questions from the moderator, Christina Delisi from Manchester, and she's on the planning board. And yeah, so they had questions from the audience, which were very wide ranging, and stuff from the loss of the ball fields, Matos Fields gone away. They had they talked about education, their own background, and just trying to distinguish themselves. There was somewhat of agreement. Mary Ellen Rose and Tracy O'Neill seemed to agree on some of the stuff that was discussed. Yeah, so it was interesting. Francisco Scalafini's take on everything was he doesn't want to overpopulate Gloucester, and he wants to turn Cape Ann into a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So,
Well, so you said this is the only chance for them to interact among each other.
Yes.
The Mayor Verga, but they did do interviews on 1623 with, Jill Michaels interviewed them from the League of Women Voters, each candidate, right? And
Yeah, June Michaels. Yeah, so they're actually, if you go on 1623's series, with the League of presented by the League of Women Voters, so just did individual interviews with all the candidates. They did all the Ward 2 candidates who are running in that race. Dylan Benson, former Ward 2 councilor Barry Pett was also interviewed. A gentleman named Daniel Epstein, who was a Harvard PhD, and a chiropractor, local chiropractor, lives in Ward 2. Of course, Donald Jettis as well. So that was a really diverse set of interviews. We wrote about that earlier this week, and they also were able to interview all 4 of the mayor's candidates. Those are really good interviews because they did speak on a wide range of topics. And I think if you can, you'll learn a lot more. You'll see our paper today on the mayor's race. One more race I'm trying to feature. I haven't tracked down all the candidates yet, but it's the Ward 3 race. Jason Michael Hakes, who did sit for the interview for 1623 Studios, and then a gentleman, Joseph R. Orlando, and a Marjorie Grace.
okay.
So that's where we're at on that kind of coverage. But 1623 Studios is your one-stop shopping for Gloucester politics. So if you're watching this and you want to get up to speed before the preliminary, go to their YouTube channel and check it out. It's really good work done by the League of Women Voters.
Yes, and you covered those interviews in the paper today, I believe.
Yeah, and it was a privilege. I got to sit in on the Ward 2 interviews, and then I sat for the mayor's race and the Ward 3. Jason Michael Hakes was the only one who did come in for an interview for whatever reason.
Okay. So people can watch the interviews on 1623. They can read your article in the paper. And I believe 1623 covered the debate last night, and that is on YouTube. It wasn't live, but it will be on YouTube also if people
Yeah, I
want.
think Tyler was there, right? Yeah, he was filming it. And yes, you can also watch that as well. And you can get it was not only did they film the questions from the moderator, posed by the moderator, they also stayed for the questions from the audience, which were very wide ranging and illustrative and illuminative. So I'm sorry if I'm drawing a little bit of a blank on all their precise policy details, but that's probably the best thing.
Yeah. And you'll write the story, I think, right? You're working on it?
Yeah, I'm working on something now. Yeah. I'm re-listening. Yeah, re-listening to it.
So you've written 2 stories this week that involve restoration in Gloucester.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So the scaffolding on Our Lady of Good Voyage, which is an amazing church in the heart of on Portuguese Hill. That statue of Our Lady holding the fish, cradling the fishing boat, and historic church. Built in 1915. A former church burnt down on the site, and they rebuilt it. A mission style church, the only mission style church in Gloucester. But was it March 2001? I want to say a windstorm blew the metal off, some of the metal off the domes, the blue domes of the church. That church is a beacon. If you're coming in from fishermen who are coming in, I could see the Madonna, the statue lit up from the hill, from Portuguese Hill. So those domes need restoration, and it's a both to restore both is $300,000. The tower, the West Tower, I believe, holds a carillon. For where people can, in the summer, people enjoy their music from the bells, and that musical instrument, that very large musical instrument. You don't want water infiltrating a tower where you have tens of thousands of pounds of bells hanging there. So it's a good project, and you can go on the Christian community of Cape Ann, Catholic communities of Cape Ann of Gloucester and Rockport. If you go to their website, they're still fundraising for this project. They're still a little bit short, so just put up something about that, just to put it out there. It's this church is a treasure, not only for parishioners, but for all of Cape Ann. If you go inside and you see the wooden uh, models of fishing boats by fishing families all around, it's really just an amazing, amazing church. Great, very amazing bit of Gloucester, and let's support this project. They did get money from the community preservation committee, which is great, supporting this. I think $125,000. So yeah, really great, great landmark. And the other thing that would, not that if you think about Gloucester, you think about our Lady of Good Voyage. You also think about, what else do you think about Gloucester?
Stage
What
4.
other- That's right. And so there was some, Good Morning Gloucester. Hats off to them. They got a picture of someone cleaning the tablet, and it turns out the city is restoring Tablet Rock, the plaque on Tablet Rock, and the rock sculpture around it. Yeah. So the rock dedicates the founding of the Mass Bay Colony. Plymouth wasn't part of that at the time. In 1623. What a great project for the 400th.
I didn't understand one thing in your article. So you talked about the disrepair or the crumbling, I think, underneath the plaque. Is that what the rock itself was eroding? Is that right? Is that
Well, you have that potential for I guess what they were saying is you have the potential for the water to get in back.
plaque?
So that has to be shored up as well, and that's what they're going to do. They're gonna return the look of the plaque to the bronze look that it was in 1907.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe people got used to that green patina.
Yeah.
It's corrosion, it's rust,
I love
and it's maybe on copper.
Yeah.
But on bronze, it wouldn't exist.
Interesting.
It's got the salt spray, and you have the, it didn't look good. I mean, I know some people like the green, but it was like sort of streaked with black. It just looked,
It was hard to read. It was definitely hard to read.
Yeah, you couldn't read it, and it wouldn't, you let it just sit in that condition, it probably wouldn't exist.
Right. So, and the company doing the work is kind of special, right?
Yeah, Daedalus, I don't know too much about them. They had said that they had worked on the Joan of Arc statue some years ago. But yeah, no, they're conservators, and they're out there doing a job.
Yeah, I love that. I love that there's a whole company just to preserve our statues and monuments and plaques. Save them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and then there was, there's been some effort to preserve the plaques. Roger Armstrong, I think people in the arts community know him, and yeah, so he's going around, and he's also been restoring plaques. I think he said he's going to do one on Hoe Ave in the next week or two. So yeah, these things need to be tended to. You can't just let them be.
Well, so you are going on vacation next week.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to Italy on a bike tour, charity ride for multiple sclerosis. I have a lot of friends who have that, and I've been doing this for over 10 years, riding around different parts of the world, and I'm very happy to be going off to Lucca, Italy, hopefully flying into Pisa, so I'll see the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. So I've been on Babbel trying to learn Italian, but we only learned so much Italian, and
yeah. So we can say ci vediamo.
Mi chiamo Ethan. Come ti chiami?
All right. Well, have a safe trip, and we will talk to Stephen next week, but we will see you after that. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Safe on that bike. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao. Ci vediamo.
Oh.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.